Top of page down as the line starts.
Top, very top.
Okay.
I was pointing out many times, making this emphasis, that when there is a his-orarut, his-orarut means that one becomes directed to pursue something specific. His-orarut. This his-orarut is based on the essential ratzon. In other words, this is not first being created. I mean, he is in the total disinterest. No function, no life element. And then there's a his-orarut that pulls him out of his stupor, so to speak, of his non-existence. That is not what happens. In effect, it could be described more accurately that is in constant state of ratzon, and he's waiting for a moment where there will be his-orarut. And when there is something of interest that draws him, say, okay, that's what I'm looking for. This is the ratzon. And the ratzon is in that respect, ratzon is an active ratzon, but it is not focused. It is not identified. As we said, this can be perhaps more specifically identified as want to want. But this want to want is a living process. Where does he get that ratzon? This is what we are constantly bringing out. This ratzon is the active state of the neshama itself. Why is the neshama active? Because the neshama was brought into the world by the Meibashin to be active, with the purpose. Initially, when a human being, I'm bringing this out to see clearly. When the Rebbe first created Adam Rishon, before he created Adam Rishon, when he had Adam Rishon in plan, he said, he will be ruling the world. This is the identity of the Adam. This is not a secondary state. This is what the human being, what Adam is in initial creation. It isn't that he was first created as an animal, totally disinterested. And then say, I can have a domain, I can rule the animals. That's not the way it works. Because Adam initially represented the Meibashin in the world. He had nothing shachas to the world per se. He is the creator in the world. He represents the creator in the world, not the created. He is ruling the world not because he wants to rule the world, but because he wants to represent the creator of the world. This is in the essential state. This is the initial state of the human being. Then there is a his-orarut. The his-orarut is a subset of that initial state. It's not unlike, on much higher level, but it's not unlike a person learned how to read, and he knows how to read fluently. Then he picks up a book or a sefer and he reads. Is that a new creation? This is drawn upon his knowledge of reading. Although he's reading something for the first time. That's a phenomenon that there's a ratzon, a marutzo, a natural movement, an active state in the essential being of the universe. And this is why this is described as a siba lehi his-orarut. It becomes the siba, it becomes the underpinning, the cause, the force behind the his-orarut. The last few words on the previous page, which is between parentheses, says in the ratzon there is no his-orarut. Rak yochel li yesh b'bchinas siba lehi his-orarut. Yochel li b'bchinas siba sounds like it's conceivable that it will be, it could be, that it will not be. Could be conceivable that the siba for the his-orarut will come from elsewhere. That's not what he means to say. What he means to say is that in this initial state, in its essential state, he is not actively pursuing the his-orarut. It's a real essential state. And he's capable of becoming a siba for the his-orarut. He's capable of becoming a siba for the his-orarut. When there is a his-orarut, yes, he is the siba for the his-orarut, and he participates in this his-orarut. And we'll come back to this a little bit later. And again, the important in this, among others, is that when a person acts, even if it is an act that he can very easily explain from a practical standpoint, there is the essential truth of the human life involved in that action. You're walking on ice, and it's very slippery. And when you lose your footing for a moment, you might away catch yourself to make sure you don't fall. What triggers that catch? And you shouldn't fall because you're afraid you're going to fall, and you feel it on your knee, and you fall, you'll hurt yourself. What triggers that catch? It's the essential meaning that I have to be up, not fall. It's the essential, the real presence of the human being, and he stands, he doesn't fall. That's why that's how come he catches himself like that. It isn't the potential of getting hurt. Doesn't show that there is the ratzon, an active ratzon all the time. Okay, now let's go. Right after the pronunciation on the top line. Avol, but kasher mis-orarut beis ratzon, when he is actually mis-orarut, aroused to any specific ratzon, afilu rak le'atzmai, even if the ratzon, the his-orarut, is exclusively le'atzmai, internal to himself, he becomes aware of this ratzon. He is not expressing this ratzon, but he comes aware internally in this ratzon. Then, harei ze bibchinas shaychus lahadover. There is this quality that he has a shaychus, he has a relationship to that thing to which he is miseir b'ratzon. The word shaychus lahadover, and the reason it's repeated is so many times is in order to ultimately explain how the ratzon, how the kesed is a mamutza between the matil and the soul, between the etzem nefesh and the functioning nefesh. This brings the etzem nefesh into the functioning level. I mean, he has a shaychus to the thing. And that's why it's called a mamutza. Because he actually brings the two together. Again, like we explained just now from standing up on the ice. He's holding himself not because he's concerned about getting hurt, but because he, in essence, has to be up. Having said that, I want to point out the human being, as we learned in the Hadiyim Yom yesterday, the human being is created in a manner that he stands up erect. He's not earth-bound. He's just held up somehow. Yeah, that's how he was created. This is his spirit. What's behind this spirit? What is the essential element in this? Is it convenience? I'm able to see far. What's behind it? Behind it is the essence of the human being. What is it? That he is not body, he is soul. That's what he is. That essence that he is soul. He is above world, above Gashmius. This is his essence. This manifests itself on a much lower level that he stands up erect. And he is very uncomfortable when he is not standing up erect. Because it's not him. And when he stands up erect, oh, that's me. What's me? You have to stand up. That's my soul. That is my reality. It's all in the same vein. Okay. This is principle of his-orarut. He's standing on the ground. He can't float. He's standing on the ground. But he has a his-orarut ratzon of his etzem, that he should stand on the ground but not embrace the ground. And this is where he has a shaychus lahadod. He has a shaychus to the hadod. He has a shaychus to the world. This is why he is able to function in the world and understand the world. But he's still bringing his essence to it. Okay. Now we're going further. Second line. But before he was nisoire, before he was aroused, before he was identified on a functional level, for some pursuit, what is that state then? The word hu does not refer to him. It means, what state is that? She'einoi b'bchinas gilui klal. That then the ratzon is not in an element, it does not have the quality of gilui, expression, at all. Gam loy le'atzmai, not even unto himself. There is no active element in the ratzon at that time. Ein b'chinas gilui klal, gam loy le'atzmai. And yet we just finished saying, and we pointed out, and Shmuel pointed out that previously uses the opposite words to describe it. Gilui yatzmai. Bechinas gilui. Means that he is involved in the gilui element. That means bechinas gilui. The ratzon is active in the sense that we said before. He's a merutza. And this is why he is on the ready all the time to respond to any his-orarut. But it's not b'chinas gilui. The b'chinas gilui is expressing the fact, the following point, that the gilui is a secondary state from the etzem. That's what gilui. There's the etzem, and there is the gilui that comes from the etzem. Ein b'chinas gilui. The gilui that is there in essence, that we said in the previous page, that the way the ratzon is in essence, but the ratzon is. B'chinas merutza, this is not any from gilui, because it's not separate from the essence. Like we said initially, Adam Arishin, the human being, was created to take care of the world. This is the human being. But it's not b'chinas gilui until it becomes oriented.
It's not b'chinas gilui
until something touches him. Moshe Rabbeinu came out of Pharaoh's palace. And he saw how Yidden are being mistreated. And then he saw a Mitzri beating up a Jew. So he jumped in and he took care of the Mitzri and then threw him underneath the sand. Was he expecting to do that when he came out? Is that what he intended to do? He didn't even know what was going on. That's when he first became oriented.
Huh.
Prior to that, he had no. He was a prince in the palace.
Mm-hmm. Sounds almost reactive, but really he's coming with something essential.
Of course, it's not reactive. The essential is that his Ayin is to do the right thing. This is not because he identifies with it, but because that's what he is. That's what his godly mission is.
And then when he sees that situation, he's not.
See, we have a real difficulty in understanding this principle of essence. Because in our physical world, a house consists of 4 walls. Each wall is a separate mitzvah. Together they form a house. But that is not really what's happening. No person builds a wall. Nobody builds a wall. You build a house. Physically speaking, it has to be broken down into that so to speak, insignificant level. It's a mono-dimensional, because in the physical world, you have to have every little thing has to be identified individually. But that is not focused to that. That is not what's happening. Where is there a real thing? The house, the home is a reality. It's Adam Sheni Beis, and that's part of the human being. Then, because he's a human being, then he can focus in and start building a wall. That's already in the his-orarut part. This is like a subset of this essential meaning.
Gilui and his-orarut are sort of like synonymous?
Yes. His-orarut is what brings out the gilui.
What do we mean he's not reactive? What do we mean by reactive in this context, opposed to his-orarut?
Reactive means that he is essentially, okay, like I said before, you walk and you slip and you catch yourself. Why do you catch yourself?
Because you want to be up.
Maybe because you don't want it, if you slip, you can fall down and hurt yourself. That would be reactive. You're only concerned about the fact that's happened. But that's not what the human being is. He doesn't want to fall. That is before anything happened. This means it's not reactive. It's a ratzon. He does everything intentionally. By choice, in a sense. It is not in a sense, it is by choice. The being choice over here is an essential, it's part of the essence. The Pasuk says, "Bacharta b'chai." You choose life. Who can choose life? Who chooses how can you choose others other than life? No, there is the Indian from choose life. Because not because one can choose otherwise, because then he's not a normal human being. But in the human being, life itself is by choice. He appreciates what it is. He knows what he's got. This is the difference between Brum Shubiyabos and Brum Shubiyab.
So it would be proper to say that essentially when somebody's in even just a seemingly superficial case like falling, that also is a level of the siba, of the ratzon, to be up. It's proper to say that.
Right. Up until that moment.
It seems very superficial to say something.
It's not. But up until that moment, he is always be safe because he's standing up. But up until that moment, he's not
aware.
He is not aware of this phenomenon.
So it comes begilui in that moment.
Right. But he's not concerned about falling. He's concerned about standing up.
Right.
This is the important thing that we're trying to do.
But his concern is his focus is on standing. Mm-hmm. Yet in both cases, by Moshe Rabbeinu and by the person on the ice, it's like some kind of happenstance event that makes it the gilui.
Right. This is what he said, that there is a specific situation that brings out a specific response. From where? From the general principle.
His-orarut is not an inner. It's something from outside.
Generally speaking, it is something from outside. Not always, but his-orarut. Then this is not a gilui at all. The ratzon, the essential ratzon, is not a gilui liatzmi. Why is it not a gilui liatzmi? He's active. It's not gilui liatzmi. This is what he is in essence. A human being is a human being not because he's aware of being. He's a human being because that's what he is. Then there is a his-orarut, something that makes him aware of it. That's what his-orarut.
Sorry, in this example of the following, we say before that through the Soros Ratzon he has a shaykhus to the davar shenis oirer by. So in this example, what's he have? He's having a shaykhus really with his with really what he stands for, with his essence.
Yeah. Standing up is in contrast to being down. You understand? Normally, he's not even aware of this contrast.
So the shaykhus is to the idea that there's the dual
being down.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah.
All right, this is it for this morning. I hope you all stand up. Correct.
So all our reflections are
Have a
all
good
our
day.
reflections are in his hirus minetz manefesh.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the will to live. To
sorry?
save yourself from someone's drowning, chas v'shalom. You save.
No, because he wants to live.
He wants to live. I mean, yeah. It's not a chiddush. It's putting in.
It's not a chiddush, but it's a chiddush of the influence of this.
Rabbi, this is a chiddush of like to the greatest extent.
I'm sorry?
This is like a great chiddush. It's a huge chiddush.